In the midst of the joy of this glorious Easter week, many of us are saddened and perhaps shocked by the death of our beloved Holy Father, Pope Francis. It's easy for us to get caught up in all the news and media articles about Pope Francis's life, papacy, and legacy, and to be distracted by the media that so often consumes too much of our time, and to say it is a good thing. And it is, but not if all we do is just watch it. Pope Francis himself would frequently warn against this temptation and the need to search for and always desire the truth. In my own prayer this week, I could not help but focus on how fitting it was that Francis would die in this octave of Easter, and that the first time we would all gather together as a church community without his papacy would be on Divine Mercy Sunday. This devotion of divine mercy comes from the private revelations of Jesus to a Polish sister named Sister Faustina. From her visions of Jesus, she gave instructions to an artist as to how to paint the divine mercy image of Jesus that Jesus himself wished to have painted. When I was in college, I had the privilege of working with a group of sisters from St. Faustina's order. And every day, at 3 o'clock without fail, that is known as the hour of divine mercy because it's the hour of Christ's death, the divine mercy chaplet was prayed. And I loved it. Not just because it was quick. That was it's always an enticement. But because there was something sacred and beautiful about it. The sisters, with their beautiful Polish accents, would sing the opening words to the chaplet. I'll save you my impression of them this morning. But the opening words go like this: O blood and water, which gush forth from the heart of Jesus as the fount of mercy for us, I trust in you. Pope Francis's legacy will surely include his trust in this font of mercy that pours forth continuously for all of us. Mercy, as a concept, implies that there's somebody in need of mercy, a lack of perfection that exists, and so the person needs mercy. Because the only one who is perfect is God, that's why we can't say that God is love and mercy. You can join Father Daniel's half-credit philosophy class for why that phrase is a bad phrase. Because God is pure perfection, and he's not in need of mercy. And so God cannot be mercy. John's gospel tells us God is love, and so that half of the phrase is correct. He's not mercy, merciful, sure, but not mercy itself, because he's perfect. Francis was more than well aware of his imperfections and his need, like all of us, for God's mercy. I think part of Pope Francis's popular appeal was his normalcy, his ability to relate to so many people and to not be afraid to show his humanity. Because of this trust in God's mercy, because of his awareness of his own need for it, Francis himself was able to become an instrument of the font of Christ's mercy that welled up in him. His example, then, for us should be a great witness that we ourselves on this Divine Mercy Sunday should desire to become fonts of mercy in our words, deeds, and prayers. Mercy, then, is an attribute of God that we can acquire and share with one another. It starts with our baptism. Last night I was blessed and privileged to celebrate the baptism for 2 young girls in the middle of Mass. And it had me reflecting on baptism in this Easter season, because in baptism we're offered a new identity as a beloved child of God. So often, right, people associate their identity with their sins, they associate their identity with their past, even if they've been forgiven. But their identity, and I'll hammer this home till the end of my days, is as children of God. Divine mercy, then, isn't something that's abstract, that's up here in the clouds. At least it shouldn't be. It's personal. It's poured into the heart through the waters of baptism that cleanse, heal, and draw the newly baptized person into the mission and love of Christ. I'd like to end this morning by just reflecting a little bit on Pope Francis's motto. His motto is from an ancient homily by St. Bede the Venerable that's written in the Office of Readings, the prayers that priests pray every day, for the feast of St. Matthew. Reflecting on the Gospel of Matthew when Matthew is chosen, St. Bede writes, and this becomes Francis's motto, "He looked upon him with mercy and chose him." Jesus looks upon Matthew with mercy and still chooses him. And he chooses all of us, just as he chose his servant Francis Jorge Bergoglio to become a priest many years ago and to serve him eventually as successor of St. Peter. And he was a great, great, great witness of mercy. May his life, his legacy then, be a reminder always to us to share in that mercy and to let mercy well up in us. Amen.